Good morning, everybody. Here with head coach Dan Aaker of your Winter Warriors. Good morning, Dan.
Morning, Jody.
It's been a cold one. We get a 3 o'clock kickoff this afternoon on Monday. How's that adjusted your schedule this week?
Well, it's kind of been a hectic in a lot of different areas. We've had a lot of rescheduling. You usually don't have to deal with that much in October, which is crazy. But South Dakota, you never know. We first tried to move it up on Friday, hoping that we could get it in and maybe travel more in the daylight. They got more snow, and the wind's probably the biggest problem, just blowing things around. So then we considered Saturday, but then the forecast basically said probably not a lot of snow coming down, but still 40-mile-an-hour gusts, and the wind and the snow they already had, road conditions and playing conditions, everything. So we just go ahead and talked about just moving it to Monday, and then timing, and we moved a volleyball game, and they're dealing with a lot of that stuff too. So it is what it is, but we're going to get it in, and messes up practice a little bit. So we didn't do anything Friday or Saturday. Brought them in Sunday night just for a typical pregame, just to not give them 3 days off before they have to play a game. And so it's hard, I think, sometimes as a player. Maybe it's not, because we're talking about 16, 17-year-old kids. I don't know if they do worry about that stuff, but from our end, it was just to get that refocus again, that we got a game tomorrow, and let's get it in and go up there and take care of business is kind of the mindset. So a lot of adjusting from everybody, from them, from us, to parents, to everybody, but looks like we're going to finally get a football game.
Chamberlain, 28-6 victory. Pretty solid, resounding victory. Talk to us about the keys to the game and how it played out.
Yeah, Chamberlain they're a pretty good football team, and I think the thing that probably, with us in particular, very confident in playing us. We talked about off the camera this morning that this senior class of Chamberlain's has success against the winter, starting clear back in middle school, and the way they played us last year. And I mentioned it pregame going into the game that they'll be confident playing us. And I didn't think we played well. We got to a good start. I mean, you can't. We scored on our first drive, get a fumble, score again, 14-0, feeling all right. We got this in control, and wasn't feeling as that confident at halftime. At 14-6, we gave up a score. We gave up, extended yardages at times and numerous first downs defensively. Field position which cost us, I think, field position a little bit, and we had a chance to pick up another one late that last first half, which I thought we made a nice drive with only a minute and a half to go, but come on, there was no points. So it's 14-6, knowing we're going to get the ball. I thought they adjusted to some unbalanced stuff pretty well and minimized us offensively. So really the thought process of halftime was just going to double tight and, nothing fancy here. We're not really a fancy team. Let's just get back to the basics and some of our base plays. And I thought we made a nice drive there to start the third quarter, and slowly progressed and played a much better second half. I thought Coach Olson did a great adjustment going to the 5-man front, odd front at halftime. And we kind of talked in the first half, should we go to that, because they were hitting us in a few areas, but we really didn't want them to be able to adjust to it at halftime. So we kind of held on to that 6 points, hoping we can keep them to 6 points and then throw that in at halftime. And I think that really helped us defensively. But I think the biggest, probably when you look at that whole game, was turnovers. The turnover on kick return we scored on. Sam had the interception we scored on. Timely turnovers, which we capitalized on, and that was probably the big difference in the game. I don't think it was our best effort. When we watched film, there's a lot of little things we didn't execute very well, and they were reminded that going into this week, and knowing that ultimately those are the little things that are going to propel you to where you want to go, and you have to do those things right. And so the focus this week, leading up to this Miller game, was really probably more on us. We did a lot more individual breakdown of position groups and fundamentals, and then kind of got into more team later in the week. But we needed to fix some things or get better, or probably not fix, remind ourselves of what got us here so far, and it's doing those little things the right way. And that was kind of the focus into Wednesday's practice. So it's still a solid win. Chamberlain's going to be a team to be reckoned with come playoffs, and just the size and the things they do. The weather, I don't know. I mean, so we prepare for them chucking it on us a lot, and then the weather kind of dictated them not being able to do that. Maybe found them a niche that they can really kind of go at teams, because they did move the ball against us, but we made big stops. We made big stops in our territory. A couple of them on fourth down that they get scores out of those, and we're in a dogfight just like last year at the end of the game. So I thought big plays defensively when we needed to make the stops, we did, and then when we just probably got really basic offensively and just said we're just going to go at them with our power plays. We were probably the most effective, and that might be something as we move forward. Is we're not probably a fancy team, and let's just line up and play football.
So let's talk about this afternoon's opponent, the Highmore-Harrold Rustlers, a young team that's struggling to find a win, an identity. What do you expect them to throw at us tonight?
Well, you're right, and the two keys there, they are young. They've had a slew of injuries. And you look at them on film, and it's just multiple players making multiple decisions. And that's hard on any team, but even harder with a young team. And then they've obviously struggled. They've changed a lot of things throughout the course of the year. Even offensive, what they're trying to do. They're more of a double wide, double wing now, pistol, and their main play or the main thing they want to do is try to option. So we got to be fundamentally sound defensively and know our roles and our keys. The ends can't come sliding in on dive, and we can't get caught up on the quarterback. Each area of the field has their own assignment. If you stop all three phases of that, you should be in pretty good shape. So defensively, that's going to be the big conquest. They've been kind of a 4-3 team, and then against Wagner, all of a sudden they go to more of a 5-2, and I don't know what we'll see there. Wagner moved the ball pretty well against them, and so they may go back to some of their base defense. But for us, we look at it as getting back to the little things that we talked about. Chamberlain is executing to our capabilities, understanding that we've earned the right to control everything that we possibly can do when it comes to the big picture. If we get this game, there's nothing more that we could have did. And we just let the chips fall in terms of positioning, but a lot on the line when you look at the big picture in terms of where you're going to be seated, having home field, all that stuff. And then, just maybe putting a feather in your hat of having an undefeated regular season, which, there's not a lot of teams out there that have that. So, it's and it probably even on top of that is momentum going to the playoffs with that bye week coming up. All right, feeling little energy and momentum. All that comes down to today's game, and as I said before, this week wasn't so much. We prepared for Miller, obviously, but it really was about the Winter Warriors and us individually and as a team getting back to some of those basic fundamental things that we know are going to be the key for the big picture, and that's really what we're looking for tonight.
So let's talk about the 2019 Warriors. Let's talk defensively and offensively, and maybe by position groups. This year's defensive line, ton of depth.
Yeah. There was times in the Chamberlain game we were running 6-7 kids out at one time, and that is a great advantage to have. We're especially up front. We can play between our DNs and our DTs. We can probably play 8 guys, and there's not a lot of teams that can do that without not a lot of drop out. A lot of them are interchangeable, same type kids that we can keep fresh, and I think we did a pretty good job of rotating both set rotations, but also down in distance, because some are a little bit better at pass rush, some are better at run stoppers, but that's been a big part of and both sides of the ball. I think it's been nice to have. We're still young there, still inexperienced there, but we're gaining those things, and those guys know that they may not get as many reps as some other teams that play those positions, so they take advantage of the moment they have, which is a big part of that. When they get the chance to get in there, they're going to do what they can to play their position right. So that's been a big key. Linebacker wise, once we've gotten Sam back, we're trying to rotate him out. The nice thing with Sam is he played strong safety last year, so when we see, and not a lot of teams run tight ends anymore, they just don't. Some of the ones we may see down the road do, and But when we're seeing non-tight end teams, he's really kind of out there playing strong safety at his linebacker position. So that hasn't changed. He missed a lot of reps early with the back injury. So when we do see tight end teams, and have his gap assignment, that changes a little bit. He's still working there, but having that rotation, getting in there, I think Ryder Morton's another one that stepped in and gave us some reps, and then obviously the three that started have had a really good year in Preston, Phillip, and Landon. So you got 5 there we can rotate in. Then you look at the secondary. Caden's really come along really well and can rotate in. And our deep 3 are interchangeable. They really are. They can. We've had Brady at free in a corner almost every other week, and Evan's usually the one that switches them. Jordan is a really strong corner, and then Caleb Week, another one that we've been able to run in strong safety. So. We're 1 or 2 deep at the minimum at every position, really deep at the line of scrimmage. And our defense has led us this year, Jody. It really has. We're really playing solid defense. And, the good ones that go on and have a chance to, play for state titles and state titles are led by their defense. So we hope to keep hanging our hat on that because it sets everything else up. Offensive side of the ball, you start up front, it's the same thing. Not only tackle to tackle, those same guys are rotating in, but we were able to. The 2 Vesleys have really been the main cogs at tight end. Jordan, we kind of get out there a little bit, but he's a sneaky one that sometimes you may see some more double tight moving forward with us because I think teams have kind of caught on a little bit that when he's at wide receiver, they're looking for routes. Well, I think at tight end sometimes when we sneak him in there, we may be able to get over the top a little more. So he's not a true blocker tight end, and that's not. He's a true wide receiver, but he can help us obviously as a big play type guy. And then backs, can be by committee sometimes, depending on the game. But Trevor's an excellent football player, a guy that we're going to go to when we need yards, and he just gets so many yards after contact. And Phillips had a really nice yard at our season at fullback. Had a lot of carries too. He'll carry the load. Having Sam back is let us rotate a lot where we can bring Evan or Caden in at any time. And so we've been healthy as the last few weeks, which is, nice, number 1, and fortunate, number 2. A lot of teams haven't had that, but we've seen a lot of rotation, and Brady at quarterback has just been solid. In other systems, he would probably be a standout and doing a lot of things, but he's in what we do, and he's accepted that, and he gets his opportunities at time. We haven't had to worry about getting him out, but I think Joey Cole has advanced so much this year that we would not blink if we had to bring him in. Where early in the year, Jordan would probably been our guy to be a backup quarterback, but I think Joey right now would have full confidence if anything would happen. So depth has probably been the name of the game, and we've kind of found our identity as the years went on with who can do what and what plays work best for everybody. Still work in progress a little bit up front when teams really kind of mess with this and change things up, and that'll probably be the case. But I really feel I've been really happy with how our guys have adjusted half times of every game because it's hard to adjust on the fly a lot of times. And the subtle adjustments, blocking scheme-wise or defensively schemes that we've been able to do at halftime has really made us play really well in the second half, I think, and you got to credit our kids to pick that up. So, we've had a nice regular season. Hopefully, cap it off today with an undefeated one, and then get ready for the second season or the real season, whatever you want to call it.
You talked about those adjustments. You've had adjustments on your coaching staff this year. Talk about how the coaching staff has evolved and worked with the talent that you have to develop them.
Well, we're fortunate to have a couple of volunteers in there that are former players and knowledgeable, in Ben Conant and Austin Calhoun, and they're not getting paid for what they do, but they accept their role. And I think defensively, it's been nice for me because I still work with DBs, but a lot of times, Ben will just take him, and Austin has moved in and worked with Coach Keyser at linebackers. And it's allowed me to roam a little bit during defense and kind of see more of our players where I've never had that ability before. I always had a position. So trusting in your assistants is a big thing, and I trust all my guys. I think Trent's did a really nice job defensively again, and we talk on Sunday nights about game plans and stuff and practice schedule and stuff, but he has pretty much full control of that defense, and and we're always typically on the same page. But when it comes to calls and stuff, and then that's his deal, and which is really kind of nice for me too, because when we're on defense, I can be focused on what our next series are going to be, and don't have to worry about that. And both Coach Sam Olson and Coach Trent Olson did a really nice job up front of developing that depth, I think, and rotating that. And I just have a really nice staff. Coach Carlson is there off and on and helps out. And he's always nice to have on game nights to help us out things. And it's a solid staff. And I think probably the nicest thing is most of us been together. And then when you have two former players that know the system as well, that's huge, because they can pick up on it so fast and know what we want to do and our expectations. And you can lean on them to talk about some of the things back when they were players and things that they went through and the experiences, and especially this stage of the game. And so it's been a fun ride so far. We really want to keep it going.
I've seen teams enjoy playing together. This team really is having fun, aren't they, playing with each other?
They are. I think that starts with the seniors. Our seniors are pretty hungry. They were part of a state championship as freshmen, with the 15-16 team, which was, just really loaded and a really quality football team. So they experienced that, and then I think, we had nice years the last 2 years, but they were outside looking in late in the year, and you go back to the Sioux Falls Christian game last year and how hard we fought and scrapped, and really, to be honest, we felt really good after the game, even though we lost. We laid it out on the line. They learned a lot from that and that hunger. But yeah, and so the Sioux Falls Christian game, I really felt that we played so well and felt good about how we played. We came up a little short, but that hunger kind of started then, I think, and knowing that where you could be if you play up to your abilities. So you don't always get continuity and the cohesiveness from year to year, but this group is tight, and the special ones are usually that case. You have to have that teamism, and we talk a lot about right. Everybody has a job, do your job, but at the same time you got to trust everybody else to do their jobs. There's so much trust, so that you're not trying to do more than you're capable of. You're not trying to play harder or do somebody else's job. It all comes together. It's all, every piece comes together to have that quality team. And throughout the years, the teams that have had that have typically go on to have the most success. But even outcomes aside, it's these are the ones that the groups that they're going to remember the most. You have lifetime friends here. You have lifetime memories, and the reality is a lot of them won't play football outside of their high school days. So that'll last with them forever, and they'll remember the road trips and the practices and the locker room and all that stuff. Is the special part about the game we're talking about, and it just adds the fact that they're a quality football team too. So those memories will be part of it as well. But it's fun to see that as a coach, because really that's what it's all about is getting 48 kids to be on the same page, which isn't always easy. And then they have a huge part of that, and just the understanding of the true, in my opinion, the ultimate team game. That's my personal opinion, when you have to have 11 different guys at any given moment being on the same page and fighting for each other. So been a fun group. Hope to keep it going, and I think they're definitely motivated. They're hungry, and we haven't played our best football, so that's exciting too. And hopefully we just continue.
Thanks for your time, Dan.
You bet. Thanks, Jody.